man, this is the comparison that we've all been waiting for and we haven't been getting, and that is the comparison of the Samsung Galaxy S7 Plus keyboards. And this is for any S7 Plus user or soon-to-be user waiting for their keyboard. A side-by-side comparison of the official keyboard right here. This is the official keyboard versus the generic IVSO purchased on Amazon. Okay, so what we have right in front of us is the official Samsung keyboard cover, and this right here is some magnetic, and I'll go ahead and put it in front of you for put it on in a second, versus the very generic but very functional generic IVSO. This generic just happens to have some nice bells and whistles, and we'll get to that in a second. So first thing to note, that with the generic IVSO versus the official is a direct plug-in, and I'll get to that in a second. But the IVSO generic is a Bluetooth connection, so there's a button right here that you kind of turn on, and now you connect it to your Bluetooth. There is no direct plug-in versus the direct plug-in of the tablet. It goes directly into it goes magnetized into the Samsung case, and it has these holes right here, these metal holes right here, and the metal hole connects over here, and it connects on, and now it's kind of slick, and Samsung did a good job on doing that. But it is a direct connect versus Bluetooth, so that's the first thing to note about a generic versus the official. The official is a direct connection, which often means it's going to have faster response. Secondly, I want to mention that the charging on the IVSO, since it is Bluetooth, there is no specific, you're going to have to charge it every, who knows what, every couple months. I haven't had any problems with it, so it holds a good charge on the generic Bluetooth, versus the official does not have to be charged. So this could be a nuisance or not, but the keyboard life has been healthy, so I don't have a huge problem with it. Again, I haven't used this on a daily basis. I've been kind of playing around with both of them. Again, we talked about Bluetooth will have some lag time, so if you're a fast typer, there could be some lag, which is a drag. And if you don't plan to use the keyboard for writing tons and essays and all that, this should be sufficient. So with the official, again, I didn't notice any drag time because it was a direct plug-in, and that's probably why you're paying $150 more. So in terms of keyboard quality, I have not noticed the keyboard could get a little bit sticky right here on the IVSO, which means at times you kind of have to push letters and it just doesn't register quite as fast. Sometimes gets a little sticky, and sometimes you have to push it twice. It could get annoying. Once you get used to it, it might not be as bad, and maybe you have to push it a certain pressure. I don't know. Size of the keyboards are about the same, so that's a good thing. And so if you have small fingers or big fingers or whatnot, you can expect both of these to be about the same. And let me give a quick disclaimer, and it is a big of a challenge to find a generic keyboard with a trackpad. So I was fortunate enough to have this trackpad, and there are some IVSOs that did not have a trackpad, which was almost the same product, so you'll read some reviews on that. But it is nice. The trackpads are about the same with both of them, so I give them an equal for the trackpads. So it is hard. It is fairly challenging to get a generic keyboard with a trackpad for this S7 Plus. And one thing to note, which is a plus for the generic, is the backlit keyboard, along with kind of some nice differences in terms of their colors and whatnot. So versus no backlit right here, it's pretty much a dull thing, and no color schemes, no nothing. So if you're big on colors and backlit keyboard, you got the generic is a plus. Okay, and one thing to notice, there's a DeX button right here on the official Samsung keyboard. No DeX button here. And so if DeX is a huge thing you want to switch back and forth to, you want to go with the official, which is another about $150 more. Also, in terms of the pen holder, you can see right here there's a pen holder here. Okay, pen holder here versus the pen holder right here, and nicely slides into place. So you can kind of see right here, this is Samsung did a good job of designing the pen holder. If you stick it over here, this thing just kind of flops out. So this is where they kind of recommend to put the pen with the generic IVSO. In terms of the design, it's quite different. Again, you have magnets, and this keyboard right here is actually, it's magnetized, but it's completely separated from the system. And this keyboard right here is separated, is connected to the overall system through magnets, but it's easily to be pulled off. This was another plus for the official Samsung. So whenever you do end up closing it, you're gonna have to space it. Whenever you decide to use it, you have to space it out. And whenever, which brings me to my point of your back stand. This back stand needs to work through pushing it back like this and then flapping it forward like this, and that's how you get your display and your laptop sort of display. Versus you have this very nice, and a lot of people love this back, and that's really flimsy, but it's really sturdy, and it's probably the best thing about this keyboard right here. This the official is very sturdy, and it can easily go to extremes or minimal extremes. So think about it in terms of that, if this is something that's necessary for you. Again, this is Bluetooth, and a lot of things are separated, and this thing is its own separate entity, which also might be a plus. If you're on a Zoom call and you're far away or something like that, you can quickly Bluetooth it, versus this right here. I found myself using this because I was on Zoom and I was connected to a TV, and I was trying to project it far in the back of the room. And this, the official, will not, because it's a direct connect. The keyboard does not work like a Bluetooth, so you cannot separate them and expect the keyboard and mouse trackpad to work. So there you have it, a very quick and dirty and very unprofessional YouTube video, but I think this would give you a better idea of what to expect with a Samsung, official Samsung keyboard, which again has a pros and cons, and roughly is about $220 versus a generic IVSO, which also does the job, but has the quality is not quite the same, and it has a couple of the bells and whistles. So leave your comments below, and excuse the video quality. This is just very quick and dirty before I get done with the Christmas break. All right, thanks a lot. And oh, and one last thing, if you were to ask me at the end of the day, I'll pick the generic just because $150 is a lot more expensive. This is again roughly about $50, and you got the Samsung, which is about $220 roughly, unless you look for a sale or something. All my money's on this, even though it's gonna have a couple of poor quality things, but this functions just about as effective as the professional. So, but the professional official Samsung keyboard is well built, and if they were both the same price, I'll go with the Samsung official keyboard. But for $150 more, I wouldn't personally. Okay, well, have a good one, and I'll see you soon.